Now guys, hello and welcome to this video. I would like to show you a newspaper article, or actually a website article that I found. I'm going to put the link in the video description then, so if any of you do speak Hungarian and you would like to read the original, then go on. So this is from a website called www.azenkutyam.hu, which means mydog.hu, specifically élet állandóan ugató kutya. So élet means life, and állandóan ugató kutya means a constantly barking dog. Now the interview is with Dr. Cecilia Caio. Now she is a lawyer, and she works for an animal protection agency. So let's have a look at what she has to say. The title of the first paragraph here, mit tegyünk, ha az állat gazdája nem hajlandó intézkedni. So what should we do if the animal owner is not able to solve the problem? Then first sentence here, sok éven át foglalkoztam birtokvédelmi ügyekkel, etc. So for several years I have been dealing with complaints regarding animal protection. And I mean, no, she says actually birtokvédelmi ügyekkel. So this is about, property protection. So people complaining probably about the noise that other people cause. And she says the number one complaint on the list was always what you see in quotation marks here, a túl sokat ugat a szomszéd kutyája. That means the number one complaint was always the neighbor's dog barking too much. Good. Okay. So far, so good. Next sentence, alapvetés, hogy a kutya dolga, hogy ugasson, és nincs olyan, hogy mindig ugat. Hiszen akkor 24 órán keresztül kellene ugatnia egy nap. Now this is already a pretty fantastic sentence, and it'll show you pretty clearly what the direction is we are going to take here. So it means that in principle, it is a dog's job to bark. And there is no such thing as a constantly barking dog, because that would mean it would bark for 24 hours a day. Okay, so you can make of that whatever you want. No comment. Ezentúl fontos jogi szabály, hogy általánosságban az állattartással együtt járó zavarásokat a szomszédok tűrni kötelesek. Next sentence, it's getting better. Besides that, it is important to mention that it is even written in law that everybody has to accept a certain level of noise that comes with his neighbors keeping pets. So that might be, szag, which is smell, zaj is noise, takarmányszállítás, menhelyi esetén önkéntesek, forgalma, etc. So, all sort of stuff that happens, that the animals are being fed, and that might cause noise, or it might cause smells or whatever. So, main point is the neighbors are obliged to accept that. Okay, and that's what she says. I mean, she's a lawyer; she has to know it. Yeah. Okay, so we all obliged to accept everything, no matter what they're doing. Okay. Ha mégis úgy érzik, hogy állandóan ugat egy kutya, célszerű a helyi jegyzőnél bejelentést tenni és állatvédelmi eljárást kezdeményezni. So if nonetheless you still think that you have to report the other for for the noise or the unacceptable activities that you have to look at. You can officially report that person, uh, but for animal protection reasons. So the reason is not you being terrorized by noise or by dangerous animals. In the first place, it is because of animal protection. So what they are going to do, and she's going to say that in the next sentence, what has to happen first is that the authorities, so the city council probably, they will have to check if actually everything is fine with the animal. You know, if it's not cold, if it's not hungry, if it does not have any unrecognized illnesses, and if the owner is actually also properly interacting with the animal, which means playing with it and taking care of it, or if the animal is just in the yard, chained up, which is the last part here. Vagy csak kicsapták a kertben láncra, which means they have to check if the animal is not just, or if the dog is not just chained up in the yard. Then, next paragraph, we go on with the marvels. Az ugatás a közösségi élet természetes velejárója. Now, that's, again, for me, pretty amazing. That means that barking is a natural part of our collective life. So that is saying that barking is it's not only something that that happens sometimes, and you just have to live with it, but it is even implying that this is something necessary. It's absolutely necessary. It's part of our. It's a natural part of our life together. Okay. So you can probably see which side she is on clearly. I mean, I severely doubt that she is actually really objective in this topic. But okay, let's go on. First sentence here: if the authorities cannot find any, any mistreatment of the animal, then you can start to file, or you can try to file a noise complaint. But with the noise complaints, we have to be aware of the fact that noise is something very subjective, and so there's no objectivity in it, which of course implies again that you're basically just making too much of a fuss. Just why don't you just shut up? And there's no facts involved anyway. Like nothing that those people say is based on any facts, and they're just subjectively probably just bad people, and they just probably hate dogs. Yeah, I mean that's not what she says, but that's the that's the implication. It is pretty clear. Now then, she repeats again that in such a complaint, loads of factors have to be taken into consideration. But in principle, it has to be said that everybody is obliged to just accept a certain level of noise. Okay, she said that several times now. Last sentence here in this paragraph is again she's just repeating that where loads of people live together, and that is the case in in cities or villages. We just have to accept the fact that human activities come with a certain level of noise, and these noises cannot just be simply avoided. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's nothing to say against that. Of course, as long as we are alive, we do cause sounds and noise, and that's of course there's nothing against that. But this, I mean, you see that this is not really the point that we are talking about here. This goes far beyond just a normal noise that you should accept in your everyday life. Then last part here is is also pretty funny. First sentence here, az embereknek a gyerekeik után a legfontosabb családtagjaik az állatok. So she says the most, after children, um, pets are people's most important family members. And that's what she says here, család tagjaik, that means family members. So yeah, you hear that pretty often that dog nutters are calling their dogs, even their children or their babies, or I mean, family members is still is something that you can hear pretty frequently. Okay, and then the last two sentences here are basically, I mean, that's basically already a pretty explicit threat. And she's saying that one should be aware that if you report somebody because of noise, then this person will probably take it personally and might also report you, back for something. They might also try to find something to report you for. And this way, it is possible to just destroy a neighborhood community and the relationships in a neighborhood community, even for decades. So that again, saying that really you should really think about reporting anybody, because we might report, we might clap back. We might clap back, and we are prepared to go on for decades and make your life miserable. Okay, so that's what the lawyer says. All right, and then at the end of the article there is a short description of her CV, what she did. So, or what she has been doing. So, for 25 years, she has been working as a lawyer. Her specialties are, kind of the civil or the kind of property rights and animal rights. And for her, it's very important. She has been working with animal rights agencies for years, and she always wanted to make sure that it's not only, or it's not all the time, the animal owners that are being prosecuted for their wrongdoings, but that the animals themselves, that they are the center of attention, and that everything is being done to make sure that they have a good life. Yeah, which is something that I would absolutely agree on. Yeah, sure. I don't think that the paperwork is the most important thing. I would also like to see that the animals are treated pretty well, or as well as possible, of course. So that's what she's going on about. Now let's talk a little bit about the implications here. Now you see that this article is, of course, not objective. Now she is a lawyer, and she's the type of civil servant that you will have to deal with if you actually do file a noise complaint, or if you try to file a noise complaint, and if you try to reason with dog owners. I'm pretty sure that she has dogs herself as well, so I mean that's probably goes without question. And she's the type of person you have to deal with. So in this article, from already in the first paragraph, you see it absolutely clearly that she considers the the people complaining, she considers them the enemies. They are the bad guys for her. And it's totally black and white. It's the poor owners and the poor animals, and it's those evil bad people, those dog haters who just keep complaining about the noise. And why can they just not shut up and just acknowledge the fact that they just have to live with this. Yeah, they just have to live with this madness, and they shouldn't be so uptight about it. And yeah, this is the type of person that you have to deal with. Now, she calls herself an animal protection activist or advocate, which I find an absolute disgrace. Like, people like her are responsible for the unbelievable conditions that dogs here are being kept under. And like, she doesn't even talk with one sentence about the responsibility of the owners, that the owners have to make sure that their animals are not dangerous or endangering anybody else, and that they're not being a nuisance to anybody. She's not even going into that, not with one word. She's just going straight at the other party, you know. And it's people like her who are actually responsible for these terrible owners who think that they can do whatever they want. And you have these kind of gangster type people in the big cities here, who those absolutely despicable people walking around with a pit bull or some other a bully breed, and participating in illegal dogfights where those animals are just tearing each other apart, and where a lot of money is involved. And yeah, I would really be interested to see actually how those disgusting people are actually profiting from people like Dr. Kayo. Yeah, she's helping those people. Yeah, probably not directly. I mean, she probably lacks the clarity to actually see that she's helping those people. But yeah, she is. She is. And then she calls herself an animal rights advocate, which is an absolute disgrace. Yeah, an absolute disgrace. So yeah, this is the person, or this is the type of person you have to deal with if you go to the authorities here, and try to try to reason with them and file a complaint. So yeah, good luck with that, guys. So just, and this is an official, this is an official website. Like, ten thousands of people here in Hungary are going to read that, and they're probably going to agree with her. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they have always known that the other guys are the bad ones. So yeah, and she's just confirming it. Yeah, she's providing confirmation bias. That's what she does. But yeah, and she's a lawyer. Yeah, she has Doctor Kayo. Yeah, she's even a lawyer. God help us, unbelievable. So yeah, thanks for listening to all this and through all this, and you take care and sleep well, guys. Bye bye.